Hey everybody, I'm John Granato. That's Lance Zierlein. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so you get all of our content right here at SportsMap HOU. Lance, by the way, is also an NFL draft expert who writes for NFL.com, and you can see him frequently on the NFL Network. Lance, Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, making headlines. He apparently ran a 4.740 in his pro day. A mock draft on sharpfootballanalysis.com has Hamilton fallen to the Texans at 13. How much do you weigh 40 times versus what you saw on tape?
Well, I'll be honest with you. You couldn't really see, he didn't play well playing backwards when he had to, backpedal and then flip his hips and run backwards. And so I just made note of it. This is not, he gets behind when he does that. And so you just make note of it in the notes. I say that's a weakness of his. You need him to play forward. So when he's playing forward, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't think your speed is going to be a major factor. The areas of concern, if you're a safety, are now you say, if he is going to be a guy who ran a 4.59 at the combine on a slow track, on a very, very fast track, I should say, and then a 4.70 at his pro day at Notre Dame, what you basically are saying now is we have to have doubts that Kyle Hamilton can play single high safety. In other words, the ability to range all the way over to help to the deep sideline when a throw gets made over the top of the cornerback, you got to range over and try to help. Kyle Hamilton can't do it. So what you're basically saying is Kyle Hamilton is a little bit more limited in terms of his scheme fit. However, the positive is that he's still very good in run support. He still is a long-legged guy who can eat up ground very, very quickly in short spaces because he's not a heavy-legged player. He is a player who's very physical. He has great size. He can still cover tight ends, from the slot. As long as you play him in the right scheme, he's still going to be a very, very good football player.
Listen, I saw a lot of people having him at 3 to the Texans. A lot of people. So just because of the 40, now he's 13? Okay, you know what? Big win for the Texans. If you don't have to take him at 3, you can take an Evan Neal or an Aiden Hutchinson or whoever is sitting there, and you can still get Kyle Hamilton at 13. When what you saw on tape with your human eyes, you think that he is that good, then big win for the Texans.
I think what you have here is this might be the best possible scenario. Him running a slow 40 time at the combine and then again at the pro day. It's already a position that doesn't have a high priority. It falls somewhere. It's ahead of running back, but not that much further ahead of it unless you're a really, really special safety. Now, I think he has a chance to be a special safety, and my grade reflects that. However, this might be enough to push him down the board. This might be the best possible outcome because if he is there at 13th, the Texans may have a hard time. That means that at least one quarterback has been drafted ahead of him. That means probably 3 wide receivers, at least 2, maybe 3 wide receivers have been drafted. There's been a huge run on tackles. You probably have one. There's been a huge run on defensive ends. Maybe Sauce Gardner for sure is off the board. So if Kyle Hamilton falls to you at 13, there's been a run on other positions that you would have an interest in. He might be a very, very good addition at 13, and that might be a benefit that he ran a 4.7.
Well, it's funny. Pro Football Focus says that outside of quarterbacks and wide receivers, that safeties have more wins above replacement. And yet, only 15 safeties have been in the top half of the first round since 2000. See, does that make any sense to you that they're so valuable, the great safeties, and yet nobody drafts them?
I think value is relative there, and PFF's notation of value over. How often does a safety make a play? And I think what you look at is, does a safety keep touchdowns from happening? In theory, yes, you say, oh, they play over the top. But what if that safety is part of a cover 2 defense or a split high safety look? Is he going to be near the line of scrimmage like a Jamal Adams? If so, well, what happens if you play against quick game? Like, there's things you can do to take a safety's value really away from him on a play-by-play basis. Safeties have an impact on a fewer percentage of plays than a cornerback will, for example, or an offensive tackle. They have direct engagement every single time. Of course, quarterback has a direct relationship on winning every single time. A running back might touch the ball 16 times in a game out of 60 some odd offensive snaps. A safety may be involved directly in a play where he has a direct impact, his positioning in a play at a lower percentage. So I think I understand what the analytics people try to say there, what PFF's trying to say. I think from a practical standpoint, these teams are all driven by analytics right now anyway. They still have strong analytics departments inside the NFL teams. Despite the narrative that they don't, they actually do. And so when they're looking at this, you see that NFL teams still don't consider safety a high priority position.
No, yet what we've seen, the Troy Polamalu's and the Ed Reeds and the
These are
Bob
Hall of
Sanders
Famers now, yes.
have huge impacts. I don't know if the game has changed that much, but certainly safety is a huge position. That's
those
Lance
guys
Owens?
could both really run too. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about Kyle Hamilton did not have the speed of a Troy Polamalu who ran a sub 4.40.